financial documents or reports that you would find in an accounting system. The first one is the chart of accounts. This is literally what it sounds like. It is a chart that lists all of the accounts that a company could use. Now, chart of accounts are not standard. They can be formatted a little differently, and they may have different accounts in them. Not every company uses the same accounts, but in general, you're going to find that it lists all of the accounts that would be used. Most of the time, they'll also have account numbers associated with them. This is a very basic chart of accounts. It's just listing the names of each of the accounts and what their account type is. Chart of accounts will be listed in your accounting equation order that we've looked at before. So you'll have assets, then liabilities, then stockholders' equity, then revenues, then expenses. Okay? So again, this is just a listing. There are no numbers associated with this. This just lets us know all of the different accounts that we have available or are in use by our company. The other report we're going to look at is the trial balance. Now, a trial balance is going to list every account that a company has, but it's going to have the balance in each of those accounts as well. So you look through the ledger and pull each account out that's in the ledger, and you'll also have the corresponding balance with each of those accounts. And we're going to have a column called the debit column and a column that's the credit column. Debit obviously is the left one and the credit is the right. Should be familiar with that already. So we're going to go and look in the ledger in each of those accounts. For instance, it's cash. Okay, we're going to find that. We're going to say, okay, what's the balance there? It's $4,015. It's a debit balance. So we're going to come and put it on the trial balance in the debit column. We're going to do that for every account that we have. Again, these are listed in that same accounting equation order. Sometimes they're referred to as financial statement order. Your assets are first, then your liabilities, then those equity accounts, then revenues, then expenses, just like we've seen before. Okay, so looks a little bit like the chart of accounts, but again, this is an actual report. It has numbers and it has a reason behind it. So we put all of these numbers. Again, we've got your debit column, we've got your credit column. Let's just go down a little bit so we can see the end of this. At the very bottom of our report, you'll see here that we have total for each column. We've totaled the debit column, we've totaled the credit column. They equal or balance. This still does have to balance. Your debits have to equal your credits. The trial balance is used to make sure that there is a mathematical equality between the debits and the credits. In other words, all of your debits equal all of your credits. It does not, however, prove that all of our numbers are correct or that we are free of any type of misstatement or error. But it does tell me that all of the debits equal all of the credits. It wouldn't tell me, for instance, if we debited and credited the wrong account. It wouldn't tell me if we used the wrong amount. As long as we used it in both the debit and the credit side, then they're still going to equal. So it doesn't mean that there's not mistakes or errors, but it does tell me that all of the debits equal all of the credits. If you get something that the debit column and the credit column doesn't equal, then we can look for why that would be. Maybe you just left an account out. You didn't pull all of the accounts from the ledger. You just kind of skipped over one. Well, then look for that balance as a balance in an account that maybe you missed. You could do something like a transposition or a slide. A transposition is where you flip two numbers in a row. Let's say it was 125 and you wrote down 152. You transposed that or flipped it. A slide would be if you had, say, $10.50 and that became $105 even. You slide the decimal to the left or the right. That's called a slide. If you can take the difference between the debit and credit columns, I believe equally divide by 9, then you're looking probably for a transposition or a slide. If you can equally divide the difference by 2, then you're probably looking for something that was entered twice on the same side. So instead of doing, say, a $50 debit and a $50 credit, you debited something for $50 twice. So your debits and credits didn't equal. So again, there's a couple little tricks of the trade that you can use to look through and figure out some of those errors or misstatements. But the important part is that if it doesn't equal, you know definitely that you need to go look for something. Just because it's equal does not mean that everything is good, there are no errors, there are no boo-boos or misstatements. But it does tell me that all of my debits do equal all of the credits. So it is a good validation of that mathematical equality.